It's that time of the week, guys, for another 3rd and 3 episode. And on today, we're going to debate who is the best running back in college football history. Plus, we're also going to discuss the best Alabama football team and the best Clemson football team ever. And then we're going to be joined by Alabama national champion John Copeland from the 1992 national championship team. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this edition of 3rd and 3. Welcome inside another exciting edition of 3rd and 3, everybody. I am your host, Stephen Ray, and as you can see, I'm wearing Clemson, plus I've got Alabama stuff back there, so we are talking Alabama and Clemson on this show. Plus, we're going to be joined by John Copeland, but before we do all of that, let me go on ahead and pull up both of my co-hosts. But first, I'm going to pull up the Clemson fan first, himself, the one and only Clemson Tom. Tom, how are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing a heck of a lot better, Sting. Now that you're wearing winter's colors finally. So cheers. I got cut it with a cucumber. It's refreshing. It's a summer delicacy. So cheers, brother.
That's awesome, my friend. And Clemson is definitely going to be looking to get off on the right foot, here in a few weeks because they take on the Georgia Bulldogs to start the college football season.
I love it. I heard Georgia had some injuries today, which I hate. You want them to be 100%, but it's an old school rivalry that goes back decades, man. So no matter what, they got some injuries, but they're going to reload. It's Georgia. They recruit 4 and 5 stars just like everybody else. So I'm excited for that. I'm going to be watching that. Actually, I'll be in New York City watching it with the Clemson Club in New York City. So it'll be fun.
Okay. Well, I have a question for you because I do believe that you are a former wrestler, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. To start off and to introduce our other co-host, Tom, who would win in a steel cage match between Tom or Joey?
Tom, I mean, yeah, it's not. Honestly, it wouldn't even no trash talk. Joey, you seem cool, but I got the experience on you. I got the technique on you. I got the looks on you. I can rock the mic a little bit better if you want to cut a promo. I mean, it is what it is, man. Joey, it's steel cage. When them doors shut, that ass is mine. It's over, baby. I mean,
ladies and gentlemen, Joey. Joey, what have you got to say about that, my friend?
Clemson Tom, you're the reason why God created the middle finger. I swear. I'm gonna tell you what. If me and you ever got
right to you, because you're
if me and you ever got in the cage, we got grass. And first off, I'm going to say this: what the hell are you wearing, Stingray?
Exactly. Don't worry about what he's wearing. He's wearing winter stuff.
SEC super fan, you got an ACC shirt on.
Converted him like Jesus did his disciples. That's what it is.
And listen, if I want to listen to asshole talk, I'll fart.
Well, you could just record yourself and play it back because that's exactly what I hear.
What kind of cap you wearing?
A cap?
Yeah, what kind of cap you wearing?
Detroit Tigers. Right there.
Is everything you like Tigers? Clemson Tigers, Detroit Tigers.
Except for America, they're the Eagles. So yeah, Tigers, Eagles, winners, same thing.
But I will say this, though. Both of y'all hate the Auburn Tigers. So
no, Auburn aren't the Tigers. They are the Plainsmen. They're the War Eagles. They kind of say they're the Tigers, but they got a statue. If you go back to one of my videos and I actually went to their stadium, they have a statue of a tiger into their stadium. It's a panther. It's not a tiger.
I think you're. Honestly, I think you're wrong because honestly, I always grew up knowing them as. So what's going on the show today?
Foul language all the time.
So we are going to discuss.
Hey! Before you even start that little mouth, I'll give you a nasty look, but you look like you already got one. Hey! I'll take you to the cage right now. Sting, I want that shirt off.
I'm sorry, I don't speak ignorant. I thought we already covered that.
You going
You sound like that Muppet. There's like marbles in your
mouth.
You
know what? So one day, your joke, someday you're going to go far. And I hope you stay there.
You know, I got you something. I didn't want to talk about this early on in the show, but I got you something. Are you ready?
Yeah.
What I get you? Right here, buddy. Since you want to take me on in a steel cage, I got you some men's formula vitamins because you're going to need them. All right? Then I got you this gift card so I can pay for your bus ride back to your cheap house with your $20 blinds behind you, dummy.
Those blinds are $100. Those blinds were $100 piece.
What is that? Where are we at? You better get a rose over your right shoulder?
All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on and talk about our first subject of today. And who is the best college football running back in history?
I'll let the female go first.
Well, the female is your wife's actually upstairs right now making me a sandwich. That's why I'm washing my hands because I don't know what kind of bread she's going to bring down with her nasty self. Between the two of you, I'm scared.
So we're going to talk about each other's wives now, huh? Wow, class. That's class right there. Wow.
That's why I nicknamed your wife French bread. Baby, bring the baguettes down. You know I like that butter you put on.
Yeah.
She'll show you that move later. Don't worry about it.
I swear.
Running backs, guys. Come on. Focus.
You should really come with a warning label.
I probably should. Best running back ever in college football. Man, I got to go Reggie Bush. Hang on. No disrespect to Alabama because they've had some great running backs that have kind of come through and they've dominated. But when you come to razzmatazz, some sparkle, some razzle dazzle, man, Reggie his whole career is a highlight reel. I love me some CJ Spiller. You know, I remember the kick return he had against Alabama back, I think it was 06 whenever we played you guys in Atlanta. That was awesome, but Reggie did that like every play. Reggie Bush, in my opinion, would go down as top five. And you put me on the spot, so I had to say Reggie. No, without doing research.
I will say this though. You know, you're entitled to your opinion. I'm not gonna bash you and all that stuff. But Reggie did cheat the system. That's the reason he no longer has a Heisman.
Well, like every Alabama player. He cheated the system because he got paid? Have y'all gone to the Alabama athletic facility when the players are at practice? It looks like a Dodge dealership. I'm just saying.
First of all, we're not Auburn. Second thing.
Cheats, bro.
Well, you know what? Reggie Bush would not got caught if he would have kept his word. You know, he lied to that agent, and he tried to, screw the agent over. And that's what happened, and the agent said, you know what, if you're going to try to screw me over, guess what? I'm going to invest thousands of dollars into you, and then you're going to screw me over? No. I don't feel sorry for Reggie Bush. A man's only as good as his word. His dad and Reggie Bush.
Talking about his behind-the-scenes deals that every
I get it. I understand that.
Makes.
Look, I 100% understand that. And Reggie Bush was a good running back at USC. And that's honestly, I want to give you it because you look it, but Reggie Bush was a good pick. But I'm going to have to go Ron Dane because in the 90s, besides watching Alabama football, we was watching Wisconsin. And Ron Dane was a powerhouse. He
was good.
He was most yards in NCAA history. How can is that or Archie Griffin? Archie Griffin don't even have
go-to though is always Archie Griffin because
here's the deal. Archie Griffin won the Heisman Trophy twice. That's an accomplishment you can't take away. But Ron Dane, when you look at the numbers, if you look at the numbers, Ron Dane is the man. So he has to be the best running back in NCAA history. Him or Tony Dorsett.
No, I mean, it's one of those things where you could just argue it all the time. Ron Dane was a hell of a running back. Don't get me wrong. I mean, just like you say Reggie Bush, you say anybody that just. I mean, honestly, I'm surprised you picked one of the guys from Alabama because you guys just reload when it comes to the running back stable that you guys have.
They didn't have the numbers.
Yeah, but I mean, look at all the guys you put through.
In '99, in the late '90s, besides Alabama, we was watching Wisconsin, and then the mid '90s we was watching Nebraska. With Lawrence Phillips. So I just remember everybody at school talking about Ron Dane, and he does have the numbers to back it up. So yeah, he's gonna have to be the best running back in college football history.
No, I hear you. I can't even argue it because he was such a good player too. I think that's a great topic that you could have a roundtable discussion, and 4 different guys could have 4 different players that they picked, and no one would be wrong. You know what I mean? It's a great question. I think will always be debated.
I think I found it. Hold on. Son of a
Stingray, this is a Christian home. Shh.
Oh, sorry. The running back question.
Okay, answer it. You looking at the nose hairs, ain't you?
No.
I'm looking at.
Shh. Shh.
What?
Look, I got hand sanitizer out here. Like, she just
Dang,
leaves over there.
Boss man, what are you doing?
What are you trying to find, bro?
Okay, never mind.
My ADHD's kicking in. I'm on move too. I got hand sanitizer and a daggum dragon, bro. Shit get crazy around here.
Okay, all right. Well, you guys talked about a really good running back, Joey. You talked about the Wisconsin guy. And Tom, you talked
about name, Stingray.
What now?
He has a name.
I know.
He's the best running back in the history of football, and you
the worst.
Ron Dane.
You hush. I'm trying to correct the guy. Go ahead, Stingray.
Ron Dane and Reggie Bush. But mine is actually going to be a guy who is about to be entered into the Oklahoma State Ring of Honor this year at the TCU game, Barry Sanders.
Oh.
That is my running back of the greatest running back in college football history.
I wouldn't say he's the greatest college football running back.
I would say he was the best NFL. But that's the beauty of this question, though, man. Like, we can literally all pick.
I would literally say he's the best of all time.
Barry, all time? What about Walter Payton?
Damian Thomason. Jim Brown.
I would say that Damian Thomason's the best of all time. He had a good little, but I mean, you could literally cut this down to be the best of the conference. And yes. I mean, even then it would be, goodness gracious, because running backs are just, especially with Alabama, man, you guys have been blessed. I know Georgia wants to be running back but when it comes to running backs, man, Alabama is just.
Well, Alabama's always had a history of good running backs.
It's like the Zeta sorority. They keep rolling out like dimes on all their, like every Zeta I've ever met, it's like a 10. It's the same thing with Alabama running backs. They're all just great.
All right. So that right there is telling us that it is time to move on to our next question. And we are.
Whoa. Who's that? I told you can't come back on. Didn't I tell you can't come back on?
Yeah, come on.
I told you can't come back on. And you back.
Okay. I have muted Joey because that is not correct. So if you would like to be unmuted, too bad.
Is that funny, bro?
Okay, now you are unmuted.
Man, you better Shut up, man. You're lucky you didn't hear what I said.
You done with your homework?
Yeah.
I'm going to start whooping something.
Are you going to bed?
Go to
Come
bed.
here, right, come here, give me a hug. Hang on. Gotta be done real quick.
Give my son a hug.
Wait, let me tell you.
Ooh, sick burn.
Your Joey's wife tucks you in real nice, huh?
Okay, let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something.
What?
Do you know your parents realize that you're living proof that two wrongs don't make a right? Where's Stingray?
I was letting you two fight, dude.
We don't got time to fight.
Joey!
What?
You're boring.
Man, you know, that's why I'm going to beat your daddy up in the cage match.
I think I could take both of y'all.
Joey thinks he can beat up Daddy.
Oh,
Joey knows
I
you can
know
beat
who's
up your
gonna
daddy.
win. You know who that? You're
What?
gonna be all bloody.
You going to be what?
My dad's gonna.
I've already listen, Xander. I've already told you. I told you this 1,000 times. Your parents realize that they are living
Get off
proof
the show.
that
Get
two
off the
wrongs
show.
don't make it right.
Get off the show.
Now get off the show. Get off the show. Get off the
I was
show.
whispering in his ear that we pay more in taxes than you make a year.
Our next topic is the best Alabama football team and the best Clemson football team of all time. And I would like to take this one first. I actually feel like the best Alabama team of all time is going to be the Alabama team that curb stomped LSU down in New Orleans for the national championship game in 2011. That defense was for real, and that offense led by Trent Richardson was amazing. And I know that Devontae Smith in Alabama had a great offense last year. However, that defense of Alabama did give up a lot of points and a lot of yards to Ole Miss and Florida. And I think the best overall team, position by position, has got to be that 2011 Alabama team. Now, over to Tom.
Whoa, what's the Clemson? What's your favorite Clemson team? Well, no, you're going to say both. What's your favorite Clemson team?
I know. I was talking about. Let me do it.
Our best one was the year we beat Alabama in Tampa. Deshaun Watson's junior year, went all the way down the field. I mean, even though we curb stomped Alabama when Trevor was a freshman, we just had too many seniors on the team and wanted to come back because we lost the year before. But that year, it was all around. We were aces across the board, man. And it was a great game, obviously. I mean, it could have gone either way. But watching Hunter Renfrow catch that touchdown pass, former walk-on receiver, currently burning DBs in the NFL. As of today, apparently he burned Ramsey pretty good, one of the best defensive backs in the league right now. I'm waiting for that video to come out. Oh man, what a great year that was. That was a good team.
I would agree with that, and that was actually what I was going to say. The year that they beat Alabama with 1 second, I still feel like that team was better than Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Okay, are you finished sucking up the Clemson Tom?
Sure.
We're talking about winners, you idiot.
Okay, speaking of winners, let me go ahead and speak. Let me go ahead and speak on this. See, most people who know college football will say the 2009 Alabama team would be the greatest of all time, considering the fact that the first team to ever go 14-0. However, since our guest is John Copeland, I'm going to have to go with the 92 team. And here's why. They had the best defense that year. They had Eddie Curry, John Copeland. They had Langone. They had David Palmer, Jay Barker. I mean, they had a great team. So I will have to say that the 1992 National Championship team is the greatest team of Alabama, in my opinion. Now, that's just like what Clemson Tom said. You can talk about the 1978 team. You can talk about, Stabler and Joe Namath and all the 2011 team which they didn't win the conference. But, you know, I guess that just proves winning the conference doesn't matter. That said, greatest Clemson team. Without a shadow of doubt, I did a lot of research. And honestly, I would say that the 1998 Clemson Tigers was the best Clemson football team in the history of Clemson. 1998, yes.
Why 1998 than 1918?
They beat powerhouses like Furman, Maryland, and of course they beat an SEC team, South Carolina. So that just proved, and you know, this was probably the only year they didn't pay the players. So with that said, you know, I think honestly with the legit players that Clemson and the Carolinas have in football, I would say the 1998 team was the best Clemson team in the history of Clemson, hands down. Some people would say the 1981 team. Some people would say, you know, the 2018 team. And some people will argue saying the 2018 Clemson Tigers was probably the best college football team in the history of college football. I'm going to go with 1998 Clemson Tigers. The way they beat Maryland. And some people say they, you know, the Florida State game when they got blew out 48-0, that Florida State cheated. I disagree with that. I just think Clemson sucks.
Really? That's what your best. That's, you know how dumb you sound sometimes, bro. Like, why are you like?
I'm just stating the facts. I mean, that 3 wins.
I gotta make a phone call real quick. Excuse me.
Hello.
Hey, it's your dad. You're a freaking idiot.
Don't
listen. The only thing dumber than that is the fact that you have slow internet. You're all pixelated. Are you doing this for like an Android or something? The rest of us, actually have internet, and you're over there all pixelated. Like, where are you doing this from?
Are you doing
something like your bomb bunker or something?
Listen, don't get mad at me because I state the facts.
The fact that I show up to this every single day and try to debate legit college football with my main man Stingray over here, and then you always show up with your nonsense. People don't like nonsense. If people wanted nonsense, then maybe they would go to your home and be like, Joey, can we sit here and just talk stupidness? And you'd be like, absolutely, sit down. Watching you is like watching an episode of Ricky Lake. Everyone gets dumber, and everyone just laughs and goes on about their business. Sweet Jesus.
Are you done?
Speaking of Jesus, you need to go find him because you need him.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor, my privilege to introduce this legend at the University of Alabama, one of the greatest defensive linemen to ever play at the University of Alabama. He played 8 years at the Cincinnati Bengals in the NFL. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only John Copeland. John, how you doing today?
I'm good, my friend. Thanks for having me.
Well, the honor is all ours. We appreciate all the Alabama legends. But last week we talked to Eric Curry. Oh, well, not last week. A couple of weeks ago we talked to Eric Curry.
How did y'all manage that? Y'all talking EC? How did you manage that? Oh,
we pour out the big bucks. That's what we do. We get the legends. And
if y'all got EC on, then y'all should have went and got Obama. I mean, y'all should have been looking for Bin.
Obama's next week. We actually got Obama next week, but we'll tease it.
Yeah, later. Y'all should have looked. I lived with the guy for 2 years. He's a hard man to get in touch with.
Oh yeah, we have
John. Thanks so much for coming on, man. Honestly, as a barbecue connoisseur, I love all kinds of barbecue. I've traveled all around the country, tried different regions when it comes to barbecue, but when it comes to Tuscaloosa, if you had one place to the last meal, Jesus comes down, John, I'm taking you back home tomorrow. I need a barbecue place. We're going to go tonight. What place are you going to?
I'm going to the original Dreamland. over in Jerusalem, the original, the old shack building.
Over by the river.
Yes.
Yes.
Not the one by the river. Not the one by the river. The one over in Old Jerusalem, off of 82, back off in the cut. Small building, still a little shack. Matter of fact, I was over there about 3 months ago. Perfection when it comes to barbecue. Perfection.
I will highly agree. I was introduced to Dreamland, and I was catching this funny story. I was catching the flu, and I wasn't feeling that great. And this is years ago. This was years when you could walk into a place not feeling great and no one would look at you. Mm-hmm. And we sit down. We're at the bar because Dreamland's. It's basically you can only order like 2 things.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So the guy was like, "What can you get?" And I was like, "Man, I'm not feeling good. I think I'm coming down with a cold." He goes, "Don't worry about it." He brings me like a saucer, of sauce. I've never been there before, and then gives me bread. And he goes, "Just sit here, dip your bread in the sauce, and just eat it. You're gonna sweat everything out." I was like, "Yeah, right. Come on, man." So we end up getting ribs, obviously, because that's what you have to get. I probably ate a loaf of bread. The carbs I consumed that day should have been illegal. But my nose, my eyes, my ears, everything just sweated out. We were sitting closer to the fire pit with the ribs. I didn't feel great the next day, but the day after, I remember I'm waking up in Birmingham like, man, I'm not 100%. But I sweated most of it out.
If you don't eat a half a loaf of bread at Dreamland, then you probably shouldn't go.
No.
Dipping it in that sauce, oh my God, it's awesome.
Honestly, if it comes out that they put something illegal in the sauce, I'm going to be like, I knew there was something. I knew there was something because the sauce is just.
The thing about the original Dreamland, if you go into the original one, it's just the atmosphere, man. You get in there, man, and they got tags everywhere, and this old down home Alabama Southern atmosphere up in there, man. And I think they'll play a part in how good the food tastes.
No, I definitely hear that. Now, I know you went to JUCO in Mississippi. So I did. Speaking of barbecue, is Mississippi barbecue better than Alabama, or are they very similar to where it's not comparable? Because my experience personally, it's a little different.
I'm not the person to ask for that, because when I was in JUCO in Mississippi, I couldn't afford to go to eat barbecue anywhere. I was looking for the dollar menu. We was going to get the dollar cheeseburger. So I didn't eat a lot of barbecue in Mississippi. But I will say this about my time in Mississippi. I grew up as a man. I went down there a little boy, and I had a great head coach, had a great coaching staff. Gene Murphy, the head coach down there, outstanding man. I grew up a lot. I think that was one of the best experiences. When I think about something molded my life to give me a direction to be a man, I think Mississippi by far was the best experience I've ever had.
I would agree. I went the JUCO route as well, and got my grades up. Ended up going to a Division II school, but it was humbling, to say the least. I was finally away from mama. I'll never forget. She drove off crying, waving. I was like, "I'm good, baby. I'm good." And I went to my dorm. I'm like, it was for the first time. I was like, I'm alone. Like I can literally walk up the road. No one's gonna care. No one's gonna call. So I would with that JUCO.
I was in Raymond, Mississippi, man. I'm talking about. It's hot in Alabama, but I don't know if you've been to Raymond, Mississippi, but there's no shade trees. They cut all the shade trees down and grow grow sugar cane or something. Dog, it was so hot. I'm like, oh, hell no. But I remember my mom telling me when I left, she said, son, don't come back. And it was brutal. It's the last stop for everybody. This is your last stop. You don't make it out of here, you go back and you work in the factory back at home. Last stop. And I grew up as a man there, and I will never forget the trials and tribulations. I'll never forget the friendship that I made. I will never forget the adults in my life at that time that gave me inspiration, that gave me guidance. it was a blessing in disguise, my brother.
John, I don't know if you remember me or not, but we go a little bit back. Back in, I think it was 2006, 2007, you had a sports show on WVUA TV called Crimson Cover. Did you not?
I still have that show. We're still doing it.
Man, well, back when it first started at WVUA, I was the young Mississippi State guy that was in production back then.
We've had so many. The turnover, like every other year, we're having new people. But
Yes.
vaguely, I remember you vaguely, yes.
Yes. Well, John, can you tell us a little bit about that show?
Well, we've been doing it about 10 years, going into our 11th year. We talk, come on once a week, every Friday night after the news on WVUA. You know, it's a little bit different than most talk shows. We just sit around like three guys sitting around the bar talking about sports. We get into heated arguments. If you're looking for a whole bunch of facts and statistics, you probably shouldn't watch our show. We do have some information about certain things that we feel really strongly about, but it's entertainment, and it's entertainment from the fact that, oh, what's up, man? Yeah, I do remember you. I see your face now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what's up? Yeah, you know how we get down, man.
Yes.
It's a fun show. It's a really fun show, and we have a lot of fun. Very enthusiastic, and we get after it.
I got you. Well, what was the most exciting game, going back to your playing days, that you actually got to play in at the University of Alabama?
If I can be honest with you, man, all of them.
Yeah.
All of them. Even the one we lost to Florida, you know, as a kid growing up, it was always my goal to play college football. You know, and I grew up a huge Auburn fan, and I got a visit to go to Alabama on an unofficial visit, and I just kind of fell in love with the place. And then once I got there, it was so, the tradition just kind of slap you in the face, you know. And as you get on campus and you kind of see the tradition and everything that's going on. And the first time I walked out of that stadium to 80,000 people screaming and hollering with Crimson Tide's colors on, I just fell in love with it. So every moment I was out there on that field performing, not just in game and practices, I love what I was doing, every single minute of it, because I understood one day it'll all be gone. It won't be there. So I enjoyed every moment of it.
All right, and my last question for you is this. A lot of people have told me that leading up to the 92 national championship game, that the Miami Hurricanes were talking a lot of noise. What were some of the things you were hearing that the Hurricanes were saying about the Crimson Tide? Have you ever
heard a bunch of pigs together making a whole bunch of noise in the pig pen? Have you ever heard that sound?
Yeah.
You know, you get a whole bunch of pig. I grew up in the country, so you get a whole bunch of pig and you get ready to feed them, and they start making all these crazy noises, pig noises. That's what I heard. That's what it sounded like to me. Because it didn't matter. It didn't matter what they said or how they said it. The game had to be played.
Right.
The game had to be played on the football field. It had to be won on the football field. So all that bull was talking, I mean that. We was going to that game. We was very confident in our defense. We was very confident in our offensive line. We was very confident in our running game. We know if we won the three faces, if we didn't turn the ball over, we got turned over, won the special team, and was able to run the football, that we would win the football game. So it didn't matter what they was talking about. You ever heard the term whistling in the graveyard?
Yes.
You know, when you're scared and you're walking through that graveyard, you start whistling to try to trick yourself, like, I'm not really scared, so I'm going to just whistle like it's ain't nothing. But you're scared to death. That's what Miami was doing. They was whistling in the graveyard, baby.
Well, that was also what they were known for, is just trash talking. But I mean, that was
Miami's forte was trash talking, getting in your head.
Look,
But-
they seen the film. They watched the film for 2 weeks. They watched the Alabama defense for 2 weeks. They knew what they was walking into. They knew it. They could try to fool whoever they want to fool. They can try to take the same approach that they took with every other team. But when they turned on that film of the 1992 Alabama defense, 2 weeks prior to that game, they saw what they was walking into. They knew what they was walking into, and they were just trying to blow smoke screens. They know they was about to get it.
Mr. Copeland, I know you was on this team, but I mean, realistically, would it be safe to say the 92 Alabama football team will go down probably as one of the greatest Alabama football teams of all time, if not the greatest football team of all time?
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. I think
Why not?
Because I think every era have its team. I don't think you can compare. It's hard to compare different eras because there are different things going on within those eras. You know, when you think about Coach Bryant era, it was more running game, solid defense. They throw the ball 4 or 5 times a game. With us, it was a little bit more balanced, but it was a lot more defense, power football. You think about it now, they're throwing the football all over the places. The athletics are totally different. It's just different. I think for what we did when we did it, I think we was really good at what we did. And when people think about what we did then, we get respect for that. I think so.
I have a question about that whole team. I mean, you had a lot of great players on that 92 team, but honestly, one player stands out to me. He was under the radar, but an absolute beast. I mean, the guy was phenomenal. He wore number 88. His name was Dabo Sweeney.
Mm-hmm.
A special place in my heart being a Clemson Tiger. What was Dabo like as a guy that, I mean, because I know Dabo now. You know, I've had dinner with him a few times. Great dude. You know, I mean, now he walks on water at Clemson. But what was Dabo like?
Look, can I be honest?
Old?
I'm going to be. Hold on. I'm going to be.
Because I know Dabo. I've known Dabo for like 10 years now.
I'm going to be 100% honest. All right, 100%. Dabo was a great guy. He was the kind of guy, you know, his mom, they was in Tuscaloosa. You go to his house, man, they're going to treat you great. But Dabo was not the guy that you was going to fear on no football field. You know,
I get that, man. We're like the same height, so I get it.
And look, he's going to come in. He might get you a hustle play once or twice a year, right? He wasn't the guy that you was fearing. Now, he worked his tail off. He put himself in a position to get a scholarship. Great guy, great family. All that was great. But when you talk about just strictly football, he was decent at best.
You know, you was picked 5th overall in 1993 in the first round. What was that like for you and your family when you got drafted into the NFL? Not only in the NFL, the first round, 5th pick overall.
What was that like for me and my family? Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. I
came from rural Alabama.
I know where you came from.
I'm the only person in my family ever graduate high school. The only person ever thought about being in college, and they give me $10 million. What do you think that did for my family?
He was walking on water, Joe.
You know, not insult where you came from, but you know, you probably the only person in Alabama that ever graduated high school. Fair enough.
Oh, that's awful.
And he's a Bama guy.
That's awful. Hey, where you from?
I'm from Phoenix City.
And you talking? Are you serious? You talking from Phoenix City?
Phoenix City, baby. Yeah.
We came there. We almost beat Central my senior year with 40 players. Got beat up 7-0.
I wasn't playing that year.
You never played, man. You got 2 left feet.
I was sitting on the bench.
Did they even allow you on the field? I wish we would line up against each other, boy.
That guy, he didn't play no football.
Hey, we can line up each other right now. I'll tell you what.
You line up against me right now.
How long
you
y'all
play
been-
left in me, boy.
I got one more question. You know, playing 8 seasons in the NFL for you, who was the toughest running back you ever had to put down?
Oh, that's easy. Barry Sanders.
Mm.
That's the best I've ever laid out on. Barry Sanders.
Barry
By
Sanders.
far. By far. Not even close. And I played against Emmitt Smith. I played against pretty much all of them. Name the greats backs back then. I played against Emmitt. Played against.
What about Bo Jackson?
I didn't play against Bo.
No.
I didn't play against
Not
Bo.
even in college?
Who?
Man, get your facts right. What the hell?
I don't follow Alabama football, man. I just know Bo.
Jesus. Do you follow football? You insulted Mr. Copeland. You know what? We insulted Mr. Copeland enough. We had the greatest legend of all time, the University of Alabama, John Copeland, on our show.
I told you, hey, you use that word legend too loosely, man. That's not.
Okay, I'm sorry. The greatest icon in the history of defensive linemen, the University of Alabama, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only.
I'm not a legend. I'm not an icon. I was just.
Well, let me ask you this then. Just growing up and watching.
King of defensive linemen from the University of Alabama. I don't know what, but he was a beast. He was a beast at the University of Alabama. He came from one of the greatest teams at the University of Alabama. And, Mr. Copeland, I just want to say, honestly, as an Alabama fan and as an NFL fan, this is probably one of the greatest experiences I've ever had. And I'm humbly mean that you're part of the CTS family. You've been part of the Bama Standard, came on our show. And I humbly mean this. You know, anytime you would like to come back, it'll be my honor. It'll be all of us. It'll be everybody's honor because you are definitely one of the greats, and I appreciate you.
Well, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna leave you guys with this. If talking to me, one of the greatest humblest experience you've had, you need to get out more. Get out the house.
I've done a lot in my life, but you know, this is one of the next to talking to Jeremiah Castile. This is one of the highlights. So,
yeah, Jeremiah's a good guy. I like Jeremiah.
He's from Phoenix City, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect though.
So is Woodard Lowe. So is Woodard Lowe, by the way. I'm just throwing that name out there too. Anyway, Mr. Copeland, it was an honor. It was a privilege. Thank you, sir.
Hey, guys, you take care, man. I enjoyed it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Well, guys, first off, we really want to thank John Copeland for joining us today to talk all about the 92 National Championship team and, of course, what he's doing now with Crimson Cover TV. That is an always awesome show if you live in the Tuscaloosa or Birmingham area. Unfortunately, Joey, where you live, I don't think you can pick up Clemson Cover TV.
He can't, not with that internet connection.
Wow. Can you suck up the Clemson Tom even more?
No, I'm just saying that's a really good TV show, and I hate you can't watch it.
He can't afford cable. Look at his internet provider. It's all pixelated.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
okay. I would say goodbye, but I won't.
I have one.
People that pay their bills are talking.
I have one final thing to say to the both of you guys. Do y'all have anything else y'all would like to add before we sign off on this edition of 3rd and 3?
Yeah, I would love to say something. Have a nice day somewhere else.
Honestly, I got paid last Friday. My wife gets paid this Friday, and I get paid the following Friday. And every week you look at your check, and it has deductions. Joey, you're welcome. I keep seeing those deductions come out for the state and for, you know, the welfare and all that stuff. Hopefully you can take that money and actually afford better internet coverage because this is horrible. It looks like you're on an Android from 1997.
I swear to God, man.
I'm going to pray for you.
Beat your ass.
Lord, please, Jesus, can y'all send Joey not only a better beard, but better internet connection? It's 2021. Can we just please upgrade his internet connection? I'm sitting here every single week with my brother Stingray. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Stingray from the great state of Alabama, who has come from the University of Mississippi State, Lord. We bring you two good souls.
He graduated from Tuscaloosa.
I know he lives in Tuscaloosa because he's trying to provide.
He graduated from the University of Alabama.
The state of Alabama. And Lord, just please forgive Brother Joey for the horrible, horrible decisions he has made in his life because he has chosen poor internet connection. So we're going to pass around the offering plate. Joey, if you could please just list your Venmo account, PayPal, something, so someone can send you $20 so you can please upgrade your internet connection for 1 month so we can at least do one show in HD because it's 2021 and I got crackheads in downtown Orlando that have better internet connection than you. Praise God. Amen.
Can I get an amen?
Amen.
I bet your family tree is a bunch of cactuses because you're a prick.
No, well, your family tree is just a stick because it doesn't branch out at all.
Can we go? Can we go? I got things to do and people to see, and it's not.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for another edition of 3rd and 3. We hope that you have enjoyed it, and I'm going to leave you guys with this. Always tuning in to more exciting episodes of all of our shows right here on the CTS. And always remember, feel like a champion.
Joey, seriously, what the hell's up with your internet, though?